Welcome to this week's wrap-up. Let's start with the homework from last week. The subject was travel. I've got one of my own travel photos behind me right now. You all posted a lot of really cool photos on my Facebook page, but I wasn't sure if some of them were for homework or not. So anyway, a bunch of people did mark their photos as being for the travel homework, and I chose 3 really cool ones to show you. Brad Chiplin posted this. I mean, are you kidding? This is incredible. He says he shot it with his Nikon D300S, yay D300S, with a Tokina 11:16 at ISO 250, f2.8 with a 30-second exposure. Yowza. Janine Jock, I think, shared this photo of the Piazza della Repubblica in Rome, Italy. Janine used a Nikon D90 with a 24-70 f2.8 lens. The settings were ISO 2000, aperture f2.8, and shutter speed 1/60th. I love the architecture and I love the lighting. Joel Colson posted this travel photo. He was in Paris in 2011. No explanation, but it's such a cool shot. The motion blur is just perfect. Oddly enough, this shot is a great introduction to what I did this week and what I'm going to ask all of you to do for next week's homework. But we'll talk about that later. Lots of questions came in this week. I'll answer a few of them. Steve asked about auto ISO. I love auto ISO. Well, sometimes. I don't always use it, but it's great to use when I'm dealing with changing lighting conditions. For example, if I'm walking around, going inside and back outside, it's nice sometimes to have one less thing to think about. Here's a link to a video I did talking about auto ISO. Andrew asked me to explain how I know how to create different moods or looks with lighting. For me, experience and trial and error are how I know how to work my lighting setup. I do have an e-lookbook for sale on SnapChick's where I provide 80 ideas for photos as well as some lighting diagrams which show you specifically, down to the inch, how I set up each shot. Using diagrams and getting creative from there is a good way to start out. Robin asked how to trigger flashes or strobes. My favorite method is to optically trigger my strobes. Here's a link to a video I did on how I do it. And David asked when I'd be jumping back into the pool. Funny you should ask, David. I was in the pool earlier this week. Here's a clip. Okay guys, just give me another minute. I just need to finish my video real quick. Then I'll let you get in the pool. Okay, so I have my camera set up over here on a tripod right by the pool, and I'm going to use interval timer so that when I'm in the pool, some pictures will just... Let's chat about current events. The newly announced Nikkor AFS DX Micro 40mm f2.8 macro lens. I have mixed thoughts about this lens. On the upside, 40mm is a good focal length for DX bodies, which is good because this is a DX lens. Also, it's a macro lens, or micro as Nikon calls it. The aperture opens pretty wide for a prime at f2.8, and it looks small and light, which is perfect for a camera like the D3100. Since it's AFS, your D3100 and your D5100 will definitely like it. On the less than upside, there's already a 35mm and a 50mm available that will open up to f1.8, which I know many of you already own. Now, those 2 lenses are not macro lenses, but if you have an 18-55, which is common as a kit lens, you already have a macro lens, although it doesn't open up to f2.8. This lens is more expensive than the 35mm and the 50mm at an MSRP of $279. You're paying extra for that macro capability. If you're looking for a macro lens, a longer focal length like 105mm will get you in closer to the subject, which is important considering the way that most people like to do macro photography, which is to get in really close. So, don't get me wrong, Nikon makes great lenses, and I'll be interested in hearing how this 40mm performs once it is available. Let me know if you're planning on purchasing this new lens. I did a photo shoot today, and I posted a video explaining part of it. Here's the link. I talk about how I used preset manual white balance. VIPs, you guys have a longer video where I explain some more stuff. You have to head to SnapChick.com to get to it though. Anyway, the photos were motion photos. Okay, that's just me goofing around. If you want to see the real photos, head over to SnapChick.com to see a couple samples from the shoot. Or if you're a VIP, to see a bunch of photos. I had a lot of fun experimenting during this shoot. I even might try to do some more this week. I want to switch up the lighting a bit, I think. In fact, this sounds like a good challenge. The challenge for everyone this week is motion. I don't care if it's blurred or if it's frozen, it just has to be moving. Post the photo to my Facebook page with a description including the words motion or homework so that I know you meant it for the homework. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll talk to you next week.